How do I know if my irons are the right length? Now my first point of reference on this subject is to look at the ping fitting chart and do exactly this before we do anything else. Now on my glove hand, distance there, stand up nice and tall, relax your arms down, get to the floor and see where the crease of your wrist goes. So for me that's 35 inches. Some people with shorter arms, some people with longer arms will get a different result even though they're the same height. And then I go on something like this, won't show you my pin. Go on something like this, ping fitting chart. I'm gonna look at 35 inches, my wrist to floor. I'm gonna look at my height, which is 5'9", which is basically in the middle there. Standard length. Now, if you fall into these parameters where we're going shorter, if you fall into these parameters where we're going longer, that's when we're looking at different length golf clubs. And if you see where you come out on that chart, a standard length 7-iron is 37 inches. Now occasionally that will be different for certain brands and models, but 37 is a good benchmark area to have. But if I grab my club here, put it on the floor at the angle that you sort of play with it, get my tape measure, put that down, bring the club up to the tape measure, see where it measures. And on here that comes right up with the grip up to that 37-inch mark. So that club is standard and it is exactly what I should be using lengthwise. There are scenarios where you can go shorter in length and more upright in the head to get more consistency. That's the theory. And there are also instances where you can go longer in the club and flatter in the head so the club plays longer and you can get more speed. I have done that. I've only seen that happen a very few times in the last 10 years. I don't really venture away from the ping fitting chart that often, if at all, because of the implications those differences have to your golf swing. If you have clubs that are too short, you're going to be more upright, you're going to be over the ball, you're going to be chopping down into it, something like that. But you're going to have to be making different movements into the ball to compensate for having clubs at the wrong spec. I think it's a very good and healthy idea to start with the ping fitting chart, because then if you feel uncomfortable, you're then going to get comfortable to the club that's correct to you and your body and have more chance of your swing falling into place. Quite often I see a lot of swing faults because someone's got the wrong length clubs, and the most common one is someone that's really tall with standard length clubs. And when that tall person has standard length clubs, they have to crouch down, crouch over, lose their posture, and generally kind of like stay at the floor because they can't reach it. And there go, you have swing faults coming in from having incorrect length on the clubs. And you don't necessarily have to buy new clubs if your clubs are the wrong length. You can have your clubs adjusted. The grips can come off, you can have them cut down if they're too long. The grips can come off, you can have an extension plugged in and then the grip go back on. If you go to your local pro shop, they can do that for you, or your local retailer. So you can then, so say someone who's really tall with standard length clubs, make the clubs longer, then that person can stand up, actually use their frame and actually be able to reach the floor and produce better technique through the ball, which will help their swing long term, no end. But I hope that clarifies a few things in terms of club length, how to measure it, what you're looking for in terms of the ping fitting chart as a guide. And then if you get that bit right, then you've got the rest of the golf swing to work on next, but at least you've got the right tools in your hand to produce more efficient, more free swings. See you on the next video.